Hello, welcome back everybody. You're tuned in to the Underwater Rugby channel. We're broadcasting from Bellahøy Swim Stadium in Copenhagen, Denmark. There's an underwater rugby match coming up right now between Akkaren from Oslo and Vienna from Vienna. In blue for Akkaren, number 2, Øyvind Mellem. I'm going to read the names a little bit faster today because there's a plane to be caught, so I'm going to speed it up a little bit. No disrespect meant. Number 4, Benjamin Vesterfjeld. Number 10, Arild Blokum. Number 11, Marius Bunnes. Number 12, Trond Helge Lidevik. Number 14, Håkan Valdehag Francis. Number 24, Hermanovic Ueland. 25, Christian Drablös. Number 29, Christian Schaefer. Number 55, Alexander Kordal. And number 88, Eivind Trahog. And the team that has to catch the plane, I'll read their names quickly as well. In white for Vienna, number 3, Andreas Tansman. Number 4, Jan Kinderman. Number 5, Matthias Wurm. Number 8, Manuel Gassner. Number 9, Juan Erazo. Number 10, Thomas Schenkeli. Number 13, the captain, Peter Karlsgruber. Number 15, Andreas Schneiderbauer. Number 16, Andreas Jufman. Number 17, Martin Meskis. Number 19, Hannes Hoffmann. And number 20, Stefan Nuncic. And the head coach is Heinz Fruvert. There you go. The referees this match: on land, Jyrki Mytta, and in the water, Rafael Tito de Moras and Kaiser Lindman. Folks, what an underwater rugby day this has been, and it's not over yet. So for everybody who tuned in and watched the now famous or infamous Molde Beta match, this should not be an anticlimax, because the teams that are left here
one minute
playing are fired up. This is big. Vienna has had the toughest time in entering the Euroleague, and they have managed to bring their level of play up, and it seems that tactics, strategy, discipline, these elements are beginning to come together for them, and they're able to hold off, and they played a very tight last match, only losing 2-0, and against a tough opponent. So, well, if they could do it against Flipper, it's a pretty strong team. They hope that they can repeat it against Akkaren. And if in that game the hope was 0-0, and it turned out that a penalty and some they had some penalties, they had some deficits they had to overcome, and they weren't able to. And
no, let's start.
Akkaren is also looking to make an impression and to come up and have some positive results in the first round. So this is going to be a hard-fought match.
Okay, 6 players.
They're off. Here we go. It's begun. And I'm joined here by Zoe De Vries from Australia. She's eating a cookie, so she's not going to talk right now, but shortly she will. And we're going to have the impressions of a new underwater rugby player who's currently in training with 2 Swedish clubs. And I'll put the microphone down here. It's ready to go for Zoe when you're ready. She was a flag girl. It's kind of sexist, but that's the way we are in underwater rugby, that there are flag girls. I don't know if there has been a flag guy yet, but we could insist on it, couldn't we, as a matter of principle. Now, Vienna's got the ball. They're coming over. I think that's Petter Couchgruber there. And he passes back. And they don't have jerseys, but I think they will have jerseys in the next round or somewhere soon. It's not good that we can't identify them. And I start to recognize people more and more by their body, the way they move, and stuff like that. But you hate to say, this is so-and-so, and then you got it wrong. So you hesitate, you think about it, and then the moment when you can name the player and give some kind of identity to the pattern of play, it disappears. And we want to overcome that. Now you can see the Akkaren players, they've got the jerseys, you can tell who they are. I know who 29 is. That's Christian Schaefer, the Danish international who moved to Oslo and is playing there now. And he has put a burden on himself because he expects to help to turn the team around to give them a better result. They've got young talent here in Akkaren. They've got Tord Nerland, and he's a very tough young guy. Knows the game well. And
Free ball.
Free throw. 0-0 here with
Free ball blue.
Just under 13 minutes remaining in the first half. So, is the cookie stuck to your teeth, Zoe?
Maybe.
Okay. So, Zoe's the first, I would say, novice commentator, but it's interesting to have her perspective since she's starting to play the game, and we want to get out on social media, so hopefully eventually we'll exploit her enormous Facebook name list of friends, and they'll all tune in now if somebody starts clicking. Listen, Zoe's on the internet, and then we'll see how many viewers we can get and show that to Anton. So hold the microphone close all the time, Zoe, and you tell me if you have any questions, ask away, or mention your opinions and observations.
I have to say, at the moment, it is about 3 a.m. in Australia, so most of my friends will probably not be tuned in. However, for the last game, they were all on Facebook and very, very excited to see what happened between, I can't even remember the teams.
Molde and Beta.
Those ones.
You mean the explosive match?
The very explosive match.
Yeah. It left a big impression on you.
It was something that I have thankfully not seen before in underwater rugby. And
the ball was right there. I think that was Nunic. Anyway, he had the ball right there on the rim and couldn't push it in. And yes, so you were saying, Zoe, that you haven't had the experience of any kind of fights, and the girls don't fight as much as the guys.
to be fair, in Australian underwater rugby, there aren't such male-dominated teams, perhaps, because all our teams are very mixed, since we lack the number of players that most European teams do.
So when alpha male type personalities show up in underwater rugby, are they allowed in Australia?
Well, we don't say you can't be an alpha male, but
You have to be civilized.
You have to be civilized.
There you go. Australia is all by the regulations and rules. Now, they're pushing over here, and you see that player. What? You tell me when you think you're going to see a goal. That's what
your job is going to be. If you think they're going to score, you're going to say, it's coming.
Okay.
That'll be testing
I will.
your play reading. Okay, 1-on-2 here, and Vienna dumps the ball. He goes back and gets his own pass. It was a speculative pass, and he had to go back and pick it up. So, you know what I mean by speculative? He didn't really know for sure where his teammate was, but he just chucked it out there because he figured it
Free
might
throw,
work.
wide.
Yeah. It seems there were a couple just then. Speculative passes, that is.
Free throw in favor of Vienna. 3 seconds to put the ball in play, and it was a long pass, and it threw it right into the arms. That's a good question, actually. If you're supposed to get 2 meters in 3 seconds, but what happens if the guy passes it right to you? That's not your fault.
That is true.
So, but you're not supposed to get within 2 meters, and it looked like he was within 2 meters there. But, all right. The rules don't explain everything about the sport. What do you think?
You have to leave a little bit to be interpreted.
Yes.
Otherwise, you'd be stuck in books and books of rules.
Yeah, it would never work. All right, here they've got the back. They're underneath. There's a goal.
That was very quick. Very nice
Goal.
work, guys.
Blue.
I was expecting,
number 11.
I was expecting you to shout out a warning that a goal was coming. That was the first time you missed it, so now the next time you
did
won't.
not see that coming quite
Okay.
that quickly.
All right, Marius Bunis, he's the junior, the U21 coach for Norway.
Assist number 4.
Shortly, he'll be taking 2 teams to Sandefjord to play in the CMS Under 21 Open European Championships. So Marius Bunis is a chef. He's a professional chef. He's on TV. He's in the magazines. He's a celebrity. Yeah.
Wow.
I've never eaten anything that he's cooked, but I've seen the pictures on Facebook, and he's in competitions and stuff like that. So he's a competitive person. Underwater rugby and being a chef is competitive. You know, like Gordon Ramsay type chef.
Yeah, a celebrity chef.
But I don't know if he swears or anything like that. I haven't watched it.
I don't think you need to swear to be competitive.
As a chef, no, it's not the same. Oh, he passed the ball and it just hit the guy, his teammate in the shoulder. And now, but Vienna is working on the other side. Now they've lost the ball and halt to the action, free throw in favor of.
Free ball, blue.
So here it's confusing, like you hear free ball blue. What does that mean? It means free throw for the team in blue, which of course is Akkaren. It's logical, but they could say free throw Akkaren, couldn't they?
Yes. But blue is just easier to say.
Yeah, it's easier to say. It's one short syllable.
And it sounds quite similar in different languages.
True. Now, Vienna's got a fast break opportunity. 2 players streaming over. They're 2-on-2, which is a good thing, and they get the back of the goalie. He's looking for somebody to pass. He passes back to the teammate who came over with, but they're tied up, and just manages to get the ball off and looking to build something up there. And now, coming in from above, and he rips the ball back and forth and manages to hold on to it, and they find the outlet pass coming down again from the top, and this is working from the top, trying to get the goalie's neck probably. No player on the bottom there, just working from the top and moving the elbow. You notice that, Zoe, how the elbow's swinging in and out, so that if you stick your head in there, it'll get one in the nose, in the chops.
Yes. As a goalie, you use everything you've got.
But I'm talking about the offensive player there.
And as an offense, you can use everything
Yeah.
you've got as well. And a defender. I guess it works for everyone.
So Zoe DeVries has famous sharp elbows.
Davril might have caught some sharp elbows of mine once or twice.
Oh, okay, here they come. Another fast break. It's got one-on-one. Oh, and he punched. The ball was punched away by 24. 24 is
That was a very nice deflect.
Hermanovic Ueland. So that was a really nice play. He stuck his hand out there and he just punched it away. It was really great to see. Akkaren on the move, cornered on the surface, 2-on-1. The ball drops down, and it's going to be a free throw, and it's going to go in favor of Akkaren due to a holding
Free
call.
throw, blue.
Have you learned to read the signals now?
I have picked most of them up, yes.
That's good. You probably know them better than me by now.
I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. Today I saw a end of game signal, which is like this, and then I thought it was a penalty, which is like that. So.
Oh, see, I can't really distinguish between those two yet.
It's called signal dyslexia, and it's a certain percentage of the population have it. Okay, now found his teammate. In from above, wrestling. So you played with some elite players when you went to Triton summer camp, and you're going now and playing with Malmö Triton as an ordinary club player and not a very large one. I'm not saying that to in any way denigrate you or
It's
put
the
you down.
truth.
You're not huge. You're petite. How does it feel to meet up with players like that and this kind of contest of strength?
I think playing as a woman in a very male-dominated sport, you learn. That was close, but a very nice defense, guys. Playing as a woman in a very male-dominated sport, you learn how to use your brain rather than your muscles.
You try to compensate by outsmarting them and reading the play.
Yes. And being in the right place at the right time.
Anyway, how would you say Vienna is doing right now? They're putting some pressure on, aren't they?
They're putting some serious pressure on.
Oh, he punched it away. Nice. But Akkaren collected the ball that they lost. What are these screams that we hear? Zoe?
Screams of frustration. Screams of passion.
But which side are they coming from?
I think Vienna, but...
Oh,
Oh.
Goal, blue number 14 and assist number 1.
So that's Håkan Valderhaug, and he was assisted by number 1. There is no number 1 on the roster. Did he say number 1 just now? Okay,
I thought so.
yes. There's a number 2, which is Oyvind Melem, and there we see 11. So that makes more sense.
That would
Marius
be...
Bunis. So it was number 1 plus 10.
Or number 1-1.
Something like that. All right, so Vienna's played well, they put the pressure on, and yet they still have a bigger hole to dig themselves out of.
They still need to work on their defense, I think.
They need to work on their defense.
Slow motion. Yeah. No.
Here is what this guy here. That's
This guy here says Davril pointing at the screen.
13. Yeah, you're supposed to look. Nobody else can see, but that Petter Kalstruber, and I consider him to be like the model, smaller player who's excellent because he's not a big guy, but he's always in the right place. So mentally, he's big, and he can score a goal on a very good team. He just sees the opportunity, he'll dart in and just bang it through a little crack. So there is room for the smaller player, but you have to compensate in other ways. And
Definitely agreed.
Bobby is an example of that. He's very dynamic, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows how to work with what he's got.
Yeah. When you play in Australia and Bobby's there, he's a goal scorer, right? Or
Free throw.
I think he's a very
White.
strong goalkeeper.
Goalkeeper, okay. He's an active player.
He is definitely an active player. I don't know whether he is necessarily the goal scorer, though.
All right. Tied up on the surface here. And I think there was one really important reason to call you here, Zoe, and that is because the terminology for underwater rugby in English doesn't really exist in a really good way, because most of the players are European, or they're Colombian, or they're from Singapore. So we need to establish more of an English language vocabulary, lexicon, a dictionary, whatever. Oh,
That was a very nice defense. Good switching, guys.
So when you see people fighting on the surface, is it good to call it a scrum? I mean, was that what an Australian person would? Is that a fair description of what we
That
see
is definitely a fair description.
here? Okay. So
That is the best description I can think of.
there it is. It's official. A fight on the surface in English is a scrum.
I mean, there has to be some comparison to actual
one.
rugby, right?
Right. And a free ball is a free throw. It sounds dumb to call it a free ball. I mean, what's a free ball? I mean, where are you going to get a free ball? That doesn't sound right
The
at
ball
all.
is free.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Versus a low-cost ball? Or... Vienna's doing a really good job, and they have this deficit to overcome. 2 minutes left in the first half here, and as a commentator, how does it feel? Is there any problem with feeling yourself slip into favoring one team or another?
Definitely a little bit, but I think the same as if you're reffing a game, you want to be as impartial as possible just to make what you say about each team fair.
So you don't admit to favoring either of these teams officially?
No.
No. All right.
I have no
Oh.
affiliations to either team, though, either.
Now
That was a very nice breakaway.
Vienna's got the ball. They're headed over to the other side with 1 minute left. Can they get a goal to go into halftime?
They've got some support there, which is always good as long as they
Yeah.
keep it up.
And trying to get... Here is a way that you could really illustrate for the less experienced players how important it is to engage the people who are forechecking you before you pass. Because if you pass it and they
Free
just turn
throw
around and grab
wide.
the person who gets the pass,
1
then
minute
you haven't really,
remaining.
You haven't really achieved so much. And that was a good illustration of that you could see here.
Exactly.
But it's not easy for a new player to say, I'm going to grab people. No, they've got a chance. They've got the basket.
Okay, and
He's
they've
passed
dropped
it
the
around to the
ball.
other side. Oh, that wasn't a drop. That was a speculative pass. That was a hope that there would be one of their teammates there to get it. But they just chucked. That was just chucked it away. He didn't know who was going to get that. But it worked for them.
Yeah, it did.
And now there's a desperate last goal, and it could be a goal with 20 seconds left. So
But Vienna are keeping their defense up.
yeah. And there's an opportunity to reach the goal. It's a two-on-two situation. The defender's there to make it difficult. Well, now you see that symbol there, and that's not a penalty. That's end
That's
of first
out
half.
of time.
Yeah, out of time. So all over Australia right now, people are calling on their cell phones and SMSing and saying, wake up, Zoe's on internet, and get to your computer right now. So probably have hundreds now.
I probably should have told my parents, right?
Well, this is one of the things. We could have a camera on us here, but that wouldn't be very flattering for me. But it would be okay to be in your company. I would do it totally for that, for the social media value. But
Fair. I think that people tune in to watch the underwater rugby, though.
True.
Although I guess at halftime, the pool isn't particularly exciting.
Yes, and actually, what I would like to see, and tell me what you think, is that we should be filming the players when they pull themselves out of the water and throw themselves on the ground. How many people do you know who, like in everyday life, pull themselves out of a swimming pool and like toss themselves and roll over and gasp like a dying fish? I mean, that's exciting, inherently.
It is. It's also really fun to watch how different people
Everything
jump
okay?
out of the pool.
Yes.
There's the beached whale. There's the really smooth, like, gymnastics roll. There's the sort of, I like to do chin-ups and push-ups, and I'm actually just going to fly out of the water.
Yeah. And actually, there are some pools where there's such a gap between the water and the floor that it's like hard for you got so much weight in the middle. So guys don't but you learn young early in life there, and I still don't accept myself there.
Whether it's there or not doesn't. Like, there are ways that we can make it all there, but you don't necessarily have to, like
I'm sure that with a close reading of Winnie the Pooh or something like that, I think the end is almost dumped out.
I don't think I ever got to it. I think
That's really unfair.
but you kind of still get it.
Well, what happened?
Like, no, but like the actual going on adventure
Oh, yeah.
kind of stuff. You know. I think that he got too old.
Yeah. You get to go to school or something.
Yeah. Commentating's kind of fun.
It is.
Just like talk about whatever you want.
I think, well, actually, I've been criticized a lot for this. Every time I do this, people say, what are you doing? Yeah, because we want to hear about the game. So when we come back, we'll try to be more into the game. But in my defense, we started this at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I didn't know much.
There's only so many things you can say about
Yeah, I get tired of it after a while. I mean, I'm into it. I'm into this game. I like these teams. I know them, and I know the challenge. So over the season, you see the development and the desire that they have. They're shelling out all this money, and it's a love. You know, it's obviously it's an addiction. People would do it.
Yeah.
We can go back and keep talking. So I guess the highlights at halftime are over, and Zoe and I are here. We're back,
Hello.
and we were just talking about the underwater rugby addiction. And are you addicted, Zoe?
Definitely.
She's addicted.
Sometimes I like to purge myself, go on holidays, party a little bit harder than perhaps I should, but I always come back to underwater rugby.
Yes. And have you started your, what do they call it? You know, where people go crazy in the gym doing all that, those competitions and everything.
Okay,
No,
6 players.
Iron Woman?
No, that's something else. All right, they've started again. We promised the viewers that we are going to talk more about the actions to prove that we are professionals and we can do it. I saw somebody get slapped in the face right there, and there was no referee call. That gives you an idea of how tough this game is. You just have to accept it, right?
Yeah.
And
A lot of the time people accidentally get
accidentally. Sure.
slapped in various body parts, and
Akkaren's in the corner going up, and they're waiting now. and they pass down a little bit backwards.
Some very good support happening.
Now they're making a move on the goal. Lillevik, Trond Helge came over, and instead of capitalizing on it, a loose ball is picked up by Vienna. They head halfway across the pool, and a sloppy pass is slightly broken. It's broken up or interfered with, deflected, and that slowed everything down. But free throw. What's that mean there?
Holding your neck.
Yes, I would say in the underwater rugby terminology that we're inventing right
Free
now,
throw,
I would call
wide.
it choking. What do you think?
That is definitely a legitimate call.
But neck grip to me sounds too descriptive. Choking is very...
Choking also implies to me that it's potentially harmful, whereas I think if you say just grabbing the neck,
Okay.
it's potentially, it could just be accidental.
So Zoe is voting for neck grip as the call. And
Will we take this to the viewers?
yes, exactly. But now Vienna is still fighting like crazy, moving forward. Now he went through that player and crashed into the other one, the back, the feet moving in, coming on the other side, grabbing the head, jerking on the goalie, pulling on him, and you notice how they're shielded by the wall when they're fighting over the goalie to some degree. And they come in back in on the other side, and Vienna is putting up a dogfight here, wouldn't you say, Zoe?
I definitely would, but we've got a bit of a breakaway happening now. Maybe not.
And the breakaway is going the other direction this time, and it's 1-on-2, but he's at the height of the goal. Mouth comes in, and they're working.
Very well as a team.
So they recover the ball out in the middle and come straight back in. He sees his teammate there on the right side. If he could just pass it over to him, and they do. They're combining. They're trying to work the ball back and forth on both sides, but it's ended up with Akkaren. Akkaren passes out, and it's a lethargic or lackadaisical sort of attempt to escape there, and they're tied up immediately by Vienna. Now they've managed to get it to midfield, and Vienna's working really hard, but of course they're down 2-0. They have to.
Yeah.
So when I say lackadaisical, that's not entirely fair. It's more like rational, or
Yes. Yeah. The motivation of the underdog.
but I mean, being down this lead, they don't need to work as hard. Trond Lillevik slaps the ball away, but it ends up with a Vienna player who's searching for an outlet pass. He finds it, and it's all the way over. It's another fast break. He goes for the goalie. He spins around. He's looking for his teammate. He doesn't see that his teammate's actually arrived, but another teammate comes on the right side. Now they're working in from the bottom, and the ball's plucked away by number 29. Who was that? That was Christian Schaefer. You've met a lot of underwater rugby celebrities here, and it must be hard to keep track of all the people you're meeting. You're so many here at a competition like this.
Most certainly is.
Oh, there's a great pass, but it bobbled and bounces off the bottom, and Vienna's struggling to get it out, but they have the fast break. Two players going down. They're 2-on-2, and he's got to make contact first and break it up before he makes the pass, and he does. And the ball squirts out. He goes back to get it. He's trying to fight to get his teammate who's by the other side, and they're working it. They're getting it slapped out and working in again. There's a lot of quick thinking going on here, Zoe. What do you think?
There definitely is. It is
And it's there. Goal.
Wow, that was a very, very nice goal. They worked for
Goal,
it,
white.
but
Number 10, assist. Number 8,
So that was
10, 8.
Thomas Schenkely who scored the goal. and he was aided in that by Manuel Gassner. So that was a real slam dunk of a goal, right?
Yes. Well, we have learned from the day so far that you really need to push the ball in to make sure that it actually gets in the goal.
Yes, because there's been
Time
some controversy
out,
here.
white team.
There has been a bit of controversy.
What did you watch the replay of
It-
that controversy that they did? They sent it to the referees for evaluation.
Yes, and it was ruled a no goal.
But what did you think?
I could not see it.
Yeah.
So I understand why they ruled it a no goal, and I think if I was in the same situation, I probably would have ruled the same thing.
Yes. Well, for me, it was like the Who song, I Can See for Miles and Miles, and I saw that was a goal. But that's, I mean, what the call is the call. That's what happens. But it's cool anyway that we have this instant replay and that you can go through. It creates kind of drama in the game, and we need that.
Yeah. It makes it more honest.
It makes it more honest. If you use it well, if you blow it, right? It's your chance. But you don't know what the video's recorded either.
Yeah,
Their
exactly.
bodies, I mean, you could see the referee's fin in the way of some of the video recording, and you say, would you just move your, but it's all recorded, you can't move his foot now, and you could Photoshop it out, but what
Let's
would
continue.
you put in? So,
Yeah.
all right. This game started at 5 o'clock. It's now 17:37 to 5:37. So we're moving along pretty well, I guess. And the Vienna guys have to catch flight. That's why I read their names really quickly, and I hope people didn't take offense to that. And when you don't have the correct pronunciation of people's names, it's good to go fast because you can skip over them quickly. Do you see that lock he's got on him there with his legs around, squeezing? Have you ever experienced that?
Definitely.
And it feels like,
You can't go anywhere.
but does it hurt?
No.
But do you feel kind of panicked? For me, it feels like, oh, I want to breathe. All of a sudden, the need to breathe becomes acute.
I
It
completely agree. But it doesn't hurt
Free throw.
so much. It's more,
Wide.
it's a very mental thing.
But it also, there's something physiological about it that it squeezes you, and somehow the air doesn't, your blood's not running right, so you want to end that. It's like you're willing to think about giving up the ball. It's like, okay, I'll give it to you. That goes through your head,
Yeah.
if you're honest.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
I mean, there are some people who can hold their finger to a match to be in the movies or whatever, but not everybody's like that. So, but that's one of the great attractions of sports, in my opinion, is that there is a certain amount of suffering, and that's why people do it, because they want to suffer a little bit, because what is life without some kind of contrast between lying on a sofa and doing nothing and feeling something, right? That's what you...
That is fair. I think people do it for the challenge, and to have a good challenge, you need an undesirable,
like
you need-
Mount Everest.
yeah, there needs to be an undesirable, I can't think of the word, consequence
Right, that you
if
go
you
and
don't succeed.
film a grizzly bears and you don't have a gun, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but the beautiful thing about underwater rugby, the secret, if you are a non-underwater rugby player watching this and thinking about it, is that you don't really have, even though you're underwater and potentially you could drown, it never seems to happen. It could happen. It could happen someday that somebody drowns, but it's that you have the sensation of being on the edge without having to sacrifice your life. It's not like driving a Formula One car where if it crashes, you're screwed, right? So,
Yeah. But I think because underwater rugby is such a team sport as opposed to something like Formula One driving, if you are having breathing issues, your team should notice and be able to
rescue you. Yeah.
rescue you. Exactly.
Which is odd that in Australia, underwater rugby has such difficulties with the swimming pools banning the sport because it's dangerous, even though all the swimmers are holding their breath all the time. Why aren't they banned? I don't know. You don't have to have the answer to that, so I'm just saying. It's known
I
in
don't think
Australia.
there is a good answer to that.
No. All right, but getting back to the match, 7 minutes remaining. Vienna has gotten back up to a 1-point deficit. They've played well, and they've shown that they have a lot of heart, haven't they? They've gone in, and they have not hesitated in fighting around the goal.
They're still playing their best game.
Yeah.
Free throw, wide.
So Vienna's got another free throw, and they're streaking straight into the goal. He was holding the ball with 2 hands, and now they're on.
Fighting pretty hard.
Oh, he's got the goalie's back.
They're really persevering.
This is just a great game. In fact, this is going to sound heretical, but isn't this game actually more fun and more interesting to watch than the Molde and Beta game?
I think the excitement about the Molde Beta game was that different people were going for different sides for different reasons.
Yeah.
And so everyone was very invested in the outcome. Whereas this is just fun to watch.
They're doing a good job of playing underwater.
Wide
Exactly.
free throw.
So again, a free throw for Vienna, and they're going to go straight for the goal if the pass pattern has been anything to go by. But they dropped it, they bobbled the ball, and they have to start from the side over there, and a pass backward.
There are certain advantages to starting from the side, though.
Can you explain that, please?
Well, if you're boarded in by a wall, it means that you only have sort of 3 sides that people can attack you from.
You've got half of the sphere of a ball that you're in the center of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is, so close and yet so far. Down to the bottom, picked up by a Vienna player, and they've got a situation. They're not hesitating. And is that Schenkeli or Jan Kindeman and Schenkeli are both very tall, big guys, so that from the physics point of view, if they get in there, they have the leverage to lift a goalie off. So there's no reason that, even though they're not super built up, they're not heavy guys, they're tall, and that means something. And they've got a great pass. He couldn't push him off. What do you think about that? That was
a great setup, though.
And now he twists around. He finds his teammate. They're wearing him down, coming out, but now the ball's in the grasp of Akkaren. So that was a great sequence there for Vienna. Really good, and they've still got the ball, but now the ball's turned over. Akkaren's taking it up. And we're looking through the wire here from the signal, passed over, and Akkaren headed over. It's a break.
They're breaking away, but
and
Vienna's got some defense up.
Yeah. Oh, he threw it into the arms of the defender, and it's a counterattack on the others directly. This is a really dangerous sort of situation because the people who were on defense could have started away, but in this case, it seemed like they hadn't even gotten away from their own goal. On the other side, 4 minutes left, roughly, and Akkaren has the ball cornered, but he manages to pass backwards. The forechecking is coming everywhere. This takes so much energy to forecheck like this. It means that you have to be in pretty good shape. And they scoop it up, and no, Akkaren has it. Kim Schaefer. And the ball drops to the drop ball. First to the ball.
Vienna's got it.
And he's got a teammate on the other side.
They keep going. They keep going at that defense.
Yeah. They've got the back again. And he passes back over. This is the way you're supposed to do it. And it's a goal!
Nice work, guys.
Goal. White. Number.
So I believe that brings the tally
What
to
number?
2-2.
Number 20.
So
Are you taking?
That was Stefan Nunic, and I actually recognize Stefan by his appearance because I've been following this for 6 seasons now. So even though I'm slow with names and faces and stuff like that, it's starting to sink in. Stefan Nunic, he's a really nice guy, and the Vienna players are so they're so friendly. They're just like you just say, go to Vienna and go to a cafe and have what do they eat in Vienna? Whatever is famous in the cafes there.
Schnitzels?
Isn't it? Or something like that, yeah.
They have, I believe,
Continue.
they have the orange chocolate cakes in
Okay.
Vienna.
So we're going to go to Vienna. The Euroleague is going to Vienna, and I'm going to go, and I'm going to eat orange chocolate cake, and I'm going to hold it up and say, sorry you aren't here. So,
And I will miss it immensely.
yeah, but you've been around the world now on your trip, so. Yeah. So now this game is wide open, 2-2, and it's great. And now they are they want to win this. This is a great game. I count this as one of the best games of the day, really. Look at that. Wow, he caught him with his feet. It was a scissors. And they don't call throat grip if you do it with your feet, do they?
No. I think that you can't get the same strangulation
So you can't say that it was an ankle
grip with your
strangulation. Yeah.
feet.
2 minutes for ankle strangulation with a fiberglass blade.
You can still get some pretty nasty scratches with fiberglass blades, though.
Oh, he's out of bounds. Out of bounds there. Now, I thought the referee was a bit slow in calling that. What was your opinion? We're not down on them, but
I would agree.
yeah.
You could see that was moving out of bounds.
Free throw wide. Roughing.
Nothing. That chap there,
We're talking about the deck referee
yeah,
here?
Tommy Epson. His son is one of the players with Flipper, and he's a extremely CrossFit type person. So he goes to the surface and he fights with the ball, and it's just ridiculous. That's his job, is sort of like enforcer. He's a good player too, but he likes to go in and mix it up with these other strong players. It's like a test of will, and so I know his dad is very proud of him, rightly so. And but he got married and changed his last name because to something new, completely different. It's not even a dual last name. So he told me before we started playing, I've changed my last name, and I'm still thinking of him by the same name with his dad. And I wrote a story about them, the Jeppesons, the father and the son. And so now I don't know, should I go back in and like put parentheses around and add his new name or Wikipedia link?
That's your call.
That's my call. Oh, here they're coming over now. Vienna, can Vienna win this? I think you would say yes, so what do you say?
Yeah, I think Vienna could win this.
How much time is left?
1 minute and 13 seconds.
And they're on the right side of the pool for this to happen.
They definitely are. And they've been pushing the Akkaren defenders. So hopefully they've been wearing them out a little bit.
It's amazing. I really wish I could play now, but do you get hungry to play when you watch like this?
Most certainly.
Yeah. In they come. It's Vienna looking to make the pass to the left side. It's Hannes Hoffmann, I think, and they've got a good position, and he's twisting, and he's losing the ball. No, he's managed to pass it to his teammate, and
But they have lost it to
they
Akkaren.
have, and there are only 7 seconds left, so that means, oh my gosh!
Wow! I don't think there are any other words to describe that. That was very quick thinking.
Goal wide. Number 20.
Number 20, that's
Assist.
Stefan Nunic.
Assist 19.
And Hannes Hoffmann got the assist. Well, he just dropped the ball, and there was no assist there. I mean, they slapped the ball away, but No, would you count that as an assist?
Let me
He
just
did something
watch.
anyway, but wow, that is my favorite moment of the weekend so far.
That is definitely my favourite moment so far as well.
I think we have to go down together to interview Stefan Nunic.
Okay.
All right.
That one.
You can help me.
It's what on him.
Interview сейчас. Stefan Nunic. Вена. Stefan Nunic. Huh? We got that was an amazing end there. No, I got it.
Весь тот год говорил, подождите.
А они бы еще пару легионеров топовых взяли. Такого как Шафер, сейчас.
We need Stefan Nunic for an interview.
Yeah, I'll get it. Right. You know what he says? Normally training
Yeah, him. I mean, he's the hero.
Yeah.
2 goals, right?
Yeah.
One, the last one. Yeah.